What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about me. And I don't mean to sound cocky or conceited, but here's the reason. I'm about to start this tutorial series. I'm going to be diving into the science and the research behind a lot of different stuff. Keto, my experiences as it relates to keto, and I figured it'd be good for y'all to know a little bit more about the person that's telling you these things, give me some more credibility, let you know you're not just talking to some random guy. So if you do know me, if you watch my vlogs, you know a lot already. If you don't, this is great. This will be a great video for you. It'd be a good catch-up video anyways. So let's take it way back to the beginning. 2009, I was a junior in high school and didn't know anything about keto at the time. Didn't know anything about working out or training at the time. I just knew that I needed to get big, look good for the girls, and be healthy, you know? So I was 115 pounds, and I'm only like 5'7", 5'8", so I was like a freaking little bitty skinny beanpole. And I'm like, what can I do to get bigger and get stronger? So I would go to my uncle, and he would be kind of like the biggest guy in the family. So I'm like, well, I'll learn from him. So he got me started on some basics, and then I just started, talking to people at the gym. I'd watch YouTube videos. I would spend hours watching YouTube videos, previous bodybuilders in the 90s like Lee Priest, Flex Wheeler, Kevin Armbruster, like those are my idols. Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course. And I'd watch them, I'd see what they would do, and I'd replicate it, or try to replicate it. At the time, I didn't have a gym membership. We lived way out in the country, so I was trying to lift weights with pieces of steel and tractor equipment we had laying around. I basically made a makeshift gym in my dad's shop, and I'd tape up pictures of bodybuilders and stuff and try and, use that to motivate me. Anyways, did that for about a year. Saw a lot of progress with that. I put on like 20 pounds that first year, kind of beginner gains, so to speak. Then I was a senior in high school and, trying to get better. I was super self-conscious of how I looked. I never felt like I looked worthy, because I was comparing myself to these bodybuilders, these pro bodybuilders. So when I was a senior in high school, I pretty much, even when I was a junior in high school, I never wore short sleeves, never wore a t-shirt. I always kept a button up on because I didn't want anybody to see me until I'd kind of built the physique that I was proud of and that I had a vision of in my mind. On the last day of my senior year, I asked my English teacher, Miss Humbard, if I could do a little pose down for the entire graduating class. Don't know how I got that approved, but I basically posed for the entire high school class. Kind of strange, not gonna lie, but all I can remember is hysterical laughter. So they must have all thought it was strange too. And after that, I went to college. I went to the University of Arkansas here in Fayetteville, and I was studying business finance. And I had learned a lot about training at that point. So I was, pretty comfortable around the weight room, but I didn't really know anything about nutrition for the most part. I just thought that in order to get big, you had to eat big. So I would eat 6,000 calories a day. I would eat 800 calorie macho chimichangas, those nasty things you stick in the microwave. I was broke. I was in college, so I would eat ramen noodles. I would eat cans of tuna. I would eat potted meat, just like nasty, nasty, nasty stuff. And I would eat 6,000 calories a day. I was on the unlimited meal plan in the dorm I was in. So I would go to the mess hall, the cafeteria, and I would eat so much that I would literally feel like puking all the time, like I was force feeding myself. And I bulked up to 230 pounds. So I went from 115 pounds in high school to 230 pounds in college. I was in college, so I was trying to fit in, still wasn't really self-confident. I was drinking a little bit more than I should have, a lot more than I should have, going to college fraternity parties and just trying to find myself. It was kind of a rough time. Second year of college, I rented a house with a couple guys, and they were still pretty big into the party scene. I tried to kind of back off of it a little bit. I would come home, there'd be 100 people in my house, sleeping in my bed, or not sleeping in my bed, if you know what I mean. And it was bad, everybody was just drunk, and I didn't feel good about the life that I was living. So I'm like, I gotta make a change. I'm gonna compete in a bodybuilding competition, get healthy, turn my life around. That's gonna be my turning point. So that's what I did. I didn't have a prep coach. I didn't have any guidance. I would just read bodybuilding.com articles and look on YouTube, and that's pretty much what I did. I would starved myself. I figured if a little's good, a lot's better. I don't want to regret not giving it my all, so I'd always take it to the nth degree. I cut my calories from 6,000 down to 1,200, I believe, towards the end. I lost 70 pounds in 3 months. I only gave myself 12 weeks time to prep, which resulted in a lot of muscle loss, but I got really lean. During that time, I haven't I talked about this, but I had really bad obsessive compulsive disorder and really bad OCD, kind of like Howard Hughes OCD. And I would, if you know much about OCD, there's different ways that it manifests itself, but I would always fear harm coming to the people that I care about if I didn't fulfill a certain task or do a certain thing. So the compulsive disorder, that manifested itself in me by basically, I would visualize somebody holding a gun to my parents' head and saying, if you don't give me everything you can right now, it's over, and I would be in the gym training with that thought in my mind, and that would push me to do 50 reps, 100 reps when I should only do 10 or 15 reps. Like it was bad. I remember being in the gym just in tears because I was so depleted. I wasn't eating very much at all, and I was just had these OCD flare-ups really bad during that really trying time. Plus, I was in college. I was studying for final exams during this time. I was, trying to make that my priority when that wasn't really my priority. So yeah, that was a really rough time. But the result of it was I got lean. I got super lean. Did it very unhealthy. Like I said, lost a lot of muscle. But I won my class in the competition. I did the Kansas State Championship. Won my class. That was my first show in 2012. And afterwards, I just had this sense of euphoria because I knew that anything I put my mind to, I could accomplish. And that gave me a lot of confidence. So I had that going for me. I was in like a state of euphoria. But that only lasted for so long because I didn't have that outlet of training for anything after that show was over. So I didn't have a concept of food. I developed eating disorders. I would binge on 10,000 calories in a meal, and then I would puke it all up, purge, and then not eat for 2 days because I worked so hard to achieve that look and that physique, that level of conditioning, and had so much mind battle over it all. And to see it lose, to see it go away as I, went into an off season, it really messed me up in the head and I got depressed. So I battled with that for several years post show. After I graduated college in 2014, I got accepted to, I got an offer to become a manager at the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. So I accepted that. Had 6 months of training that took place in Kansas and Texas. And then I was stationed in Spokane, Washington as a train master at the terminal there. And I did that for about 2 years. In that time, I bought a house. I was making a lot of money, more money than I'd ever made before. I was paying into retirement. I felt it looked like I was on top of the world, had everything figured out, but I was very unhappy. It was very unfulfilling work. I wasn't passionate about it. Everybody that I worked with hated the work they did. They just hated it. So I knew that wasn't my calling in life. And during that time, I also did 2 other competitions. I decided that I wanted to compete again because I needed to find something I could pour myself into that was fulfilling because I wasn't finding it in my career. So I did the Empire Classic in Spokane, Washington, and I did the WNBF Natural competition in Marysville, so just above Seattle. And I won my class in the natural show, and I got second in the Empire Classic. So I did that's 3 shows now in total. Those were all not keto. Those were all before I had learned about keto. Also, during my time in Spokane, Washington, is when I met Crystal. The house that I purchased was 2 blocks down from the coffee shop she worked at. So I'd go up there and get coffee. I met her. I started drinking a lot more coffee because I thought she was pretty cute. And then, that was just kind of my day-to-day. I would train. I would work at the railroad. It was 12-hour shifts, and it would rotate between days and nights every month. So that kept me pretty busy. I was trying to figure out this whole girlfriend thing because I'd never had a girlfriend before in my life. So I didn't really have a clue what I was doing there. And I tried to get into business endeavors because I wasn't happy with the railroad. So I tried to build an Amazon business, selling backpacks, knives, and flashlights. That failed. I tried to get into real estate. I became a realtor, and trying to buy and sell houses and act as an agent for clients there. And then I partnered up with somebody that I met in the railroad who also wasn't happy with his work, and we were going to invest in a fourplex together, a small apartment complex, and kind of build a real estate investment. So that all kept me pretty busy. That was kind of my day to day. At one point there, I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought that Crystal, my girlfriend, she wasn't my girlfriend at the time, was going to hold me back from succeeding in business. I'd always convinced myself up to that point that I couldn't be in a relationship because that would inhibit me from excelling in my endeavors, with business. I wanted to establish myself first before looking to find somebody to spend my life with. That was always a fear of mine. That's why I never dated anybody in high school and college. So I was kind of at a loss for what to do with that. And the first time I told her I loved her, I looked her in the eyes and told her I couldn't be with her again. I could never see her again. So she left, and that was it. During that time, I got a promotion from the railroad. They offered me a promotion to go to Gillette, Wyoming. And if I accepted that offer, I'd be stuck with the railroad for at least another 2 years because the relocation contract that they have in place. And that just didn't seem right to me. I knew it wasn't my calling. I knew it wasn't where I wanted to take my life. So I said no. I quit the railroad. And doing so, I quit, the salary. I quit the retirement. I quit basically everything I had worked for up to that point, with college and my degree and everything. So I quit the railroad, and doing that meant that the loan that we had just got approved for the fourplex got removed. So now I didn't have the salary, didn't have the fourplex coming in, and I left Crystal. So I was pretty low spot. I was in Washington, in the middle of nowhere. All my family is down south, so I just felt really lost at that time in my life. So I came home for Thanksgiving, did some thinking, asked my family, what they thought about everything. They all thought I was crazy, rightfully so. I felt good about the decision with the railroad, though. Like, it felt right. It felt like in my heart that was the right thing to do. I did not feel that way about leaving Crystal. It hurt me. Like, I felt like I'd made the wrong decision, and it didn't sit right. So when I flew back to Washington, I talked to her again, and we started talking again, and we were trying to be friends, which didn't really work out because we had feelings for each other. And then she one day gave me an ultimatum, basically said, you're either going to choose to be with me or not, but I have to move on with my life. I can't be in this unfulfilling relationship any longer. So we gave each other some time, and then I came back and asked her to be with me and asked her to be my girlfriend, and now she's my girlfriend. And that pretty much brings us up to the point before I started keto. And this was not supposed to be this long of a video, so I had to break it into 2 parts. So this is part 1. The second part is all going to be since I found keto. It sounds like since I found religion or something like keto. But since I kind of started keto and kind of used that for my competition, and how that's affected my business and how that's affected the relationship with Crystal. So it's a pretty big turning point. So that's going to be part 2, which I'll talk about next. But this is part 1. If you're watching this video on YouTube, the links in the description lead to my blog post, which has a lot more in detail about, my depression, relationship with Crystal, my eating habits, all that stuff. So if you want more info than what you're seeing on the video, hit the link in the description to go to the blog post. And yeah, that is part 1 of the more relevant part of my life here. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope it didn't bother you or bore you rather. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll talk soon.